Hey everybody, Mr. Bill to a couple of people is contentious, so we're going to take the time while I have the tanks off to explain 1947 knuckleheads to some people who don't understand, and original paint to some people who don't understand. Let me turn this light back on. That's what the DWP sets me up with, flashing lights. Anyhow, this bike appears to have no fade. And let me clue you in. It's got 32,000 miles on this Speedo right here. All right, 32,000 miles. Let me get a new old stock Speedo. This is a brand new date-coded 1947 Speedo. It's never seen the light of day. They're very similar. Go ahead and get both of them in at the same time. There we go. And you can totally tell that one has fade and one does not. Look at the needle. Look at the difference of the needle. That means this beautiful black that's all over this bike has fade. And one of my Japanese customers comes over and says, "That fender didn't come with the bike." I said, "You're fucking nuts, man." He says, "Well, it's been changed." I says, "No, it hadn't." Another guy over in Switzerland says, "Well, my guy came over and looked at it and he says some stuff's been changed." I said, "There's nothing been changed on this bike. Here's the dash. If this dash has been changed, why is it the same black? Why is it the same black? Why is it the same black? Why is this the same black? Why is that the same black? Gee, why is that the same color? Why is this the same color? Why is this the same color?" And let's go take a look at the left tank here. I don't have the right tank here because we're fitting an emblem to it. Why is that the same color? Careful. Why is that the same color? You know why? Because all the parts came fucking together. Wake up. Now here's the reality behind a knucklehead. They had, as far as I know, an 11,900 unit production of 47 knuckleheads. The last 2,000 or so, by my invoices, were made at least for months into the 1948 production year. They ran out of frames. They had to remake an entire fucking frame to finish the last bikes. So you got four completely different versions of the 47 knucklehead. At least three different frames. At least two different, massively different, stand away from here, different versions of speedball emblems. All kinds of different if you flip it over on the back. You got two different versions of dashes. Let me show you. This is 6007. One over here. I've made other videos about this. I'm not going to pull this off because I don't want to hurt the paint. But if I pull this off, it goes straight through all the way down. If you look at this one here, it does not go straight through all the way down. Because this one here is 10,294. And they remade the dash. But Harley-Davidson did not throw away stuff. They didn't need to. It's called they ran out, they were selling more, and they remade it. They remade the stamp. Stamps wear out, people. So what we're doing, the left tank on that bike had a dent in it. I had it pulled out, and the emblem was dented. Mr. Bill let somebody ride this bike, and he went down here, scratched this up, did something here where he had to change the grips, because it took and put a dent here in the left tank, and a small dent in the right tank there, which I haven't pulled out yet. But we pulled this out, so the emblem was no good, toss. So I replaced that, but now it doesn't match to the right emblem. But I've got a matching right emblem with a little kink in it, so we're straightening out, but my guy needed the tank to do it because he didn't quite get it right. So has something been changed? Well, yes, something has been changed. I just pointed out to you. Grips, yes, indeed. Okay, the seat, well, when I got it, the seat had been reupholstered, which is on the video. So I put an original Dash 1947 beautiful seat on the bike, which is this seat over here. Gorgeous original seat. I bought an entire motorcycle just to get this seat. That's the underside there. Beautiful original seat. I've Picarded this seat. It's still got Picard on it here and there. I've had this off, cleaned it up, but it's on reupholstery seat. That's the original seat. The foam's still good. Now, this here is the light socket for the speedometer. You know where it goes? It goes in the dash. Right here. Not in the Speedo. I'm going to show you something. We're going to go take a look at some speedometers here. This is a 1947 Speedo. It's an old stock. Guess what they came out with in 1948? Blue-face Speedo. Here's an old stock one. This is an old stock one right here. Or a used one here. You can totally see the fade. This Speedo was used at least through 1952. By 53, at some point, they were using a different blue face. I call them blue face Speedos still, but they're different. No, that doesn't necessarily mean they switched out at the beginning of the year. Harley used up their stuff. I don't know. I certainly don't have serial 1001 with whatever Speedo came with. So you can't always believe it's in the catalog. But certainly through most or all of 52, they used this Speedo, and it came out in 48. Guess what it's got right back there? It's got a light socket right back here. Well, guess what Harley Davidson did? This is what they did. Here's our late 47 dash with a light socket. Boom. Not in the Speedo, it's in the dash plate. Go look at these dashes. 47, they come out with this beautiful brown lettered glass. This is glass. It was used at least through 52, right here. But they still see right there, right here. Beautiful brown letters, at least through 52. But it still had a light socket in the back, right here. Even though the Speedo's got a light socket, the dash still had a light socket. Guess what? This dash here came out right about 1960, 1961 with a neutral light. And it's still got the light socket right back here. Harley Davidson still used this piece. They didn't remake a new stamp for it. Harley didn't throw stuff out unless they had to. Do you think they ever had to throw stuff out? Only because it was the new model. If they could adapt, they did. If they could adapt, they did. There's been plenty of bikes found with moved petcocks around in the tanks. Oh, new petcock line made. Harley did not throw their stuff out. They didn't walk into a bookstore and buy a Palmer book and go, guess what we're making this year, boys. That's not reality. This is reality. Here's the real piece, original paint. That's reality there. That's an original paint bike. It's hard to find a better one. It's hard to find even a better one than the 47. Now, you want to know what else has been changed on this bike? I'll tell you. These are accessory bags. They're air bags. Got Bill's name on it. Somebody bought these, drilled holes, stamped it in. It didn't come off the floor, most likely, with those bags. I don't have day of sale photos. Probably not. You want to know what else it didn't come with? We have plenty. Oh my God, do we have plenty of Harley Davidson invoices with spotlight bar back ordered. Here's your spotlights in a box. I guess you're going to have to figure out how to mount them. This here is in our accessory catalogs. The dealer had them. They could get some from over here. They're running massive material shortages. So bikes came incomplete in 46 and 47. I got invoices with no primary chain. You can look at it though. They're all on the YouTube. Just look it up and watch them. So it didn't have this from Harley Davidson. It came like this from the factory because I asked Bill, I says, what'd y'all do to this thing? He says, we didn't do a thing. It's just the way the old man bought it. Says he didn't do nothing, my friend didn't do nothing, I didn't do nothing. All we did was write it. All I did was put turn signals on it back in the day when that law come out. Well, these are 12-volt turn signals. Somewhere in the mid-60s, Michigan says everything's got to have turn signals. So he went down to Harley Davidson and says, I need a turn signal kit. So they sold him what was sold then, which is a 12-volt turn signal kit. Everything went to 12-volt. This is part of the kit here. These cool blinkies, these little lights here, and the lights back here. And they wired it up for that. So a little bit of the wiring's been changed. for the 12-volt system. And I said, well, when did you put the muffler on? He says, that's the way it came. I said, really? He says, yeah, when the old boy had it, originally had a fishtail. I said, that's so. Well, I didn't have the invoices at the time. He says, yeah, it cracked off. There you go. You see the crack right there. That's what's been changed on the bike. That's the only thing that's been changed on that bike. And that's the reality of it. So if anybody else thinks that bike has anything been changed, you need to go back to knucklehead school and figure out what the hell you're doing. So let's talk about fenders. Here's reality. They're running production shortages. You know what the fenders are made out of? They stamped this out of flat steel at Harley Davidson. They ordered cold rolled steel and then made the braces. Maybe they got some of this size, maybe they got some of that size, maybe they didn't have enough to go around. Says, well, make it a little thinner because we wouldn't need it this much. And they got what they got. They used narrow strap braces and wide strap braces all through 46 and 47. Maybe your bike had both of the wide strap, maybe had one or the other, maybe had both of this or that. Whatever they could get together and send them out the door, man. They weren't holding production because we don't have any of that size today. We got another 1,000 we're making, but we'll talk to you next month. It didn't happen. They used what they had when they needed it. If you go back to my videos, I lined up all the crash bars and showed you how different they were. Same crash bar. A little bend here, a little bend there, a little bit, because they're hand doing this. It's a hand built bike. It's hand painted. It's handmade. These are not cookie cutter machines in any way, shape, or form. So you can't go, well, that's got a little 1/4 inch bend over there, so that's not correct. It's like, well, that bender did it this way, and that bender did it that way. Well, how come it don't fit? Because that guy was building it that day, and 2,000 units later, they redid it and went and built some of those. And that's how it worked, and make it work. If it didn't fit, they went into the factory in the back and made a part and made it work for that bike.
Depression time.
So if you don't like history, then, well, I like history. That's why I like original paints. I want to know how it really happened. So we've got this bike here. On the back fender, we've got a wide strap rear fender and a narrow strap front fender. Now, if any of you remember Mud Dauber had a wide strap front and rear. It was an early production 47. This one here, it's got a narrow strap rear fender that's had a repair on it on both sides. Imagine that, they put a rack on it with weight and they cracked. And it's got a wide strap front fender. Hello, that's what happened. It wasn't rhyme or reason, it was slap it together and get it down the road. See ya, give me money. So that's the real history of how these bikes went. So if that upsets your cookie cart, restore your bike to Palmer's. You can have a make-believe of how it might have happened. These are the real bikes of how it really happened. See you guys in the next video.